Hello, good evening. Welcome to Easy 8's Online Painting Club. My name's Danny, says it right down there at the bottom of the screen. I was just checking the little equalizer down there because I've just pushed a button on my headset and it went boop. I was like, oh, have I just ruined something just before I went on? No, I think everything's okay. Let me know if you can hear me. It says that I'm talking. I hope that you can hear me. Anyway, yeah, happy Friday. Cheers. Been a quick week for me. I don't know how it's feeling for you. If it's been a long week, it's been a quick week. Are you feeling tired? Are you feeling great? You're happy that the weekend's here? I certainly am. That's not the best wine. I'm going to drink it anyway because it's a Friday. Yeah, I'm back from PAW, or PAWS as I've been calling it, the Plymouth Association of Wargamers. It was a nice little convention. Just a humble little one, getting bigger and bigger every year, which is really exciting to see. Down in Plymouth, which is quite near me, I'm in North Devon, and that's right down in the southwest bit, I suppose, right on the border of Cornwall. And it was a really, really good function. Went down there with some of the Easy 8 community. It was great to have like another little road trip out. It was great. And of course, my dad, who's just over there in the live chat. Jeff Lacey. Hi, Dad. Oi, oi, everyone. He says that he can hear me fine. Brilliant. Kessin's also in chat. Hi, Kess. Yeah, so basically a bunch of us all got together and we went down there last Saturday. We kind of rolled down fairly early-ish, just after the doors opened. And we spent a good portion of the day down there. Got to see all of the traders, got to see all of the games being played. And we came out, all of us had bought at least something. I came out with quite a haul. And I'm going to talk to you about that as the show goes on. It's really exciting. Well, I think it's really exciting. It might not be your thing. But yeah, we bought loads of stuff. And it was just kind of nice to go out as a group. The Easy 8 community is growing. And more on that as well, because it's a really exciting week. Yeah, like more people are joining. We managed to hit 80 subscribers. So for those of you that have been sharing and passing the word on, thank you so much. That means so much to me, and hopefully to all of the people that are here as well. Not just these two. More people watch this. Our community is growing, and it means a lot to those people. So thanks very much for that. 80 subscribers is a phenomenal amount of people that are tuning in to watch this show. It's not for everybody. Sometimes the number goes up, sometimes the number goes down. And if you are tuning in for the first time, Easy 8 isn't a tutorial channel or anything like that at all. There's loads of that stuff out there, and you can go and find that. And I do highly recommend you go and find those people that are really good, because I'm not. Frankly, I just enjoy what I do, and that's what this is really all about. This is a live painting show, so if you've got stuff that you want to paint, if you're looking for a little bit of company while you paint it, I'm here live streaming with you right now. There's no script, it's all raw. I will make mistakes. I will talk complete rubbish at you for the next 2 hours while I'll be painting my stuff, and you can bring your projects along as well, because I bet, just like me and around the studio where you can't see, that I've just got like piles and piles of stuff that's unpainted, and that just won't do. We've got to get it painted. I did actually promise a little while ago, though work has kind of picked up and I've forgotten a few things, that I was going to give you like a bit of a video tour in and around this room to show you how untidy it actually is behind the camera. So I'll put that up on Facebook, because we're not just here on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and of course we're also on Discord. You can see there's little things just up there, and also all the links to all of our platforms are just down there in the description as well. So if you want to join us on any of those, I highly recommend it. Facebook's been going mental lately. If you want to share pictures of your projects and the stuff that you've been doing recently, I'm genuinely interested in what it is that you are doing. I'm not just saying that to kind of get likes for the show. I really want to know what it is that you're up to, because I seek motivation and inspiration from what you're doing, and hopefully you'll find that here as well. So if you want to put pictures up on Facebook, please do. I don't understand what's going on with the Facebook page. For a long time now, you've not been able to put pictures up of the stuff that you do as an actual post to the page. But what you can do is, I pushed a button. Let's not do that. Let's push that button instead. Push that button. There we go. Cool. If you want to put pictures up on our Facebook channel, then that's absolutely fine. You just got to put them as a comment to this week's schedule, because every week on Facebook I put up a picture, like a little schedule saying, hey, this is what I'm going to be talking about, with a little link. Put all your pictures and all your comments and whatever as a comment to that thing in there, and we'll all be able to see it. Kesslin in the chat over here has been putting up some pictures of her mechs recently for Battletech, and they are absolutely fantastic. And I got in contact with Kess. I was like, dude, these are really cool. And she was like, what, really? I was like, no, they are absolutely fantastic. But you can also put your pictures up on Discord, wherever Discord is. Discord actually up here? Discord. That one there. There's a link just down there for you. And I highly recommend you going over to Discord. It's been a bit quiet lately because I suppose our community isn't really that big, and perhaps I made Discord a bit too prematurely for the amount of subscribers that we got. But the few people that do go over there, and they are on there quite a lot, put up some really, really cool pictures. And you ought to go and have a look at Chimera Wargaming. Hi, Chimera Wargaming. Hope you're watching this. Hope you're doing well over there. they put some fantastic photos of some armies that have been painting on there, and if you're into sort of the grittier sort of look on your fantasy models, go and have a look, because they're absolutely fantastic. And there's also loads of the pictures that other people have been doing. So Luke, who set up the Discord page for us, has been putting loads of pictures of his progress up there. Go and have a look, put your photos up there if you want to as well. It's great. Cool. Anyway, what am I going to be doing today? Well, if you remember, for the last few weeks now, I've been painting my Hive guard. I got them right this time. I keep calling them Tyrant guard, or yeah, the Hive guard. They guard the Hive, not the Tyrant. And I thought that they'd be a really nice project as a duo, sort of biggish, bulky models, where I could really kind of go to town on them, spend a bit of time, and do a nicer job on them. What I've been finding, frustratingly, is that I kind of got bogged down in some of the, not even the fine detail, just kind of adding those sort of illusional, is that the right word? Sort of 2D, but actually kind of trying to give you a 3D dimensional aspect to them. And I think I found out, oh, excuse me, that was a hiccup. I think I found out the problem that I've been having, and that is my brush, my detail brush. The point on it isn't actually that good. So what's been happening is, as the bristles have been going on in like a fine point, that's a fine point there with my hand. Hi, fine point. As I push it down, they spread it out, and they kind of do this, and then all the bristles don't really make a... It's not conducive to a fine detail brush, and what's been happening is it's been ruining what's been going on there, and it's been taking me longer, and I'm just compounding that issue by staying without a brush. So this evening, if you read the little schedule on Facebook, I said that I was going to try and catch up with that work I've not been able to do this week before the show. I've got about half an hour earlier on, and I've almost caught up with it because I changed to just a slightly larger brush. I wanted to stay at the other size brush because it's a bit smaller, but this one's, the point is just much better. And that's been my issue. So I'm not going to do those details tonight because I've been doing those now for about 4 weeks, and you guys must be plain bored watching me do the same thing, and I'm not even that good, so there's no inspiration or motivation in that. Really sorry, I'm just a slow painter, but you know, that's the whole point of the show, right? If you're experiencing the same thing, log in, tune in, and watch us live, or later on, you know, watch it retrospectively, and take solace in the fact that other people struggle too, you know. But I am catching up. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to try and just move on with some of the other details. There's loads of other stuff on there. Just have a little bit of fun, bring that kind of the character out in that model, and yeah, I can always catch up back on that stuff a little bit later on. I say that I do have other models that I paint on the show. I finished, but I got to go back and do those same details because I'm just ADHD and I can't focus. It's as simple as that. So yeah, if you're working on something this evening, I genuinely would love to know. So please do let me know over there in the live chat. Get involved because these guys are going to get chatty, I guarantee you. Jeff's already talking. I'm sketching tonight. Gotta make some Mordheim buildings. Don't know anything about Mordheim. Google is my friend tonight. Mordheim is a offshoot of the Warhammer fantasy world. I know quite a bit about Mordheim, not the game, but the setting is basically the Warhammer world. Mordheim is a town or a city that has been left abandoned because of a meteor impact. I'm very visceral with my sounds and stuff tonight. I apologise for that. But basically, it was some sort of weird meteorite that crashed. It brought bad omens, but it also brought a huge amount of a substance called warpstone, which is basically like it's basically a physical manifestation of chaos and malevolence. But the Skaven, which are the rat men, very low profile race, they send hunters in to go and get it, to find this stuff, and they use it to power all sorts of stuff as like a pseudo sort of electricity, but it's also worth a lot. So humans or other races, like the normal races that you'd expect out of Warhammer Fantasy, they also go in there as sort of like treasure hunters, not just finding warpstone, but any kind of artifacts and weird stuff that's left over. And it's basically a skirmish game designed over sort of a treasure hunt aspect, and it's really gritty, and you basically make war bands. So there's no armies, it's all about having a small amount of models, and there's a bit of a narrative play over the top of it. I think it got kind of reintroduced recently. I don't know anything really more about that side of it, but you'll find a wealth of information with a simple Google hit. Expect gritty Warhammer fantasy stuff. It's really cool. If you're designing stuff for that, artistic license is definitely in your handbook there. Keston says, I'm painting the cockpits on my current mechs. Fantastic. Those last ones you did, they were absolutely brilliant. I love them, and I've seen recently you put up a photo of your... They were in bright green, so I'm going to assume that they're Jade Falcon. But there's other green in there as well, isn't there? Like Liao. I hope I pronounced that right. So they've got like a green thing as well. So, ooh, which one is it going to be? Is it Clans? It's Clans, isn't it? It's Jade Falcon. I bet it is. Anyway, let's get over into the workbench so that we can see what it is I'm doing. Just before we go over there, though, if you like what we do here, please share the word of EZ8 and subscribe to the channel. Let's see if we can get to 100. Who cares about 90? We're going to go up in 10s. We're going to go up in 20s now. We've reached 80. I'm so happy about reaching 80. It's blown my mind. It really has, and I'm really humbled by your appreciation. So thank you very much. So yeah, subscribe. Let's see if we can get to 100. Anyway, workbench. Nice, here we go. So here is Frank, and here is Betty, named by you guys in the community. Now, last week, Jeff, my dad, hi Dad, said, you know, I asked the community, what do you think would look good on here, trying to get a little bit of feedback from you guys. He said maybe kind of just painting a bit of a fleshier colour on the guns on them. Now the guns, I was a little bit dubious about it at first because the guns are their own Tyranid creatures. They are a symbiotic duo, if you like, between the beast and the gun. So you've got a carrier beast and a weapon beast, or a gun beast. And so they should, I suppose, in my kind of understanding, my own comprehension of it, is that they should be the same. But it's important to make a distinction, right, between beast and gun, so that it doesn't all just blur together in this kind of big amorphous blob. So what I did at the end of the show, reluctantly, but I had a go, is I tried putting some filters on here, and you can see that it's actually worked. On my screen it looks a lot more red than what it actually is, but what I did is I used a contrast paint. I used Volupus Pink. I bought this as an impulse buy, hashtag ADHD life. And I never really liked it. It's really, really rich. It's too dark. It's too gaudy. It's too comic booky, really. Too cartoony for any of the things that I like to use. I'm not really into very heavy pinks, but watered right down and with an amount of contrast medium, and this being a contrast paint as well, it's designed to add filters. But by adding a bit of water and adding loads of contrast medium to it, I was able to desaturate the amount of colour that was going to go on there. If I just painted it all over, it would just turn it dark pink, like a really heavy purple, and I didn't want that. But what it's done is you can see that it's tainted the colour of the gun. I chose that to try and keep it as a warm colour. We were talking about fleshy colours. I quite like it. It's still a little too pink. On Betty, much better. What do you guys think? I'd be really interested to know your thoughts on that. You can see there's quite a clear distinction here where the arm kind of goes into the back of it, and where the hand has got some claws that kind of come around on both sides. Some like knuckly things. It's got two arms coming from one arm there. That's kind of cool, isn't it? I really like it. That's really, really cool. What I'm going to do is I'll add like a gentle dry brush, try to get some of those yellow highlights back in there, just to bring that colour back through, and hopefully that sort of pink colour will just drown off into the background a little bit, but should separate the two creatures. A little bit heavier on here, but I don't dislike it. I think it's really cool. Be really interested to see what you guys think. Kez is saying it's the compelling confederation, House Liao. Yeah, you tricked me on that one, didn't you? It's really cool. They look really good, Kez. Well done. Anyway, today you can see that I've caught up really on all of the carapace colours here, so all the way from the top down to the bottom. What I was just doing just before we pushed live was I was just adding some highlights to the top of the thigh plates. I didn't do those last week because I was struggling on, you know, should I do tops or bottoms or whatever. So I just added a little bit of flair to those. I need to do it on the top of the tail because it's a separate piece from the top of the chest, I suppose. It's like it's two sets, so I need to add a little bit in there. And then I did the top of the gun and front of the gun here. So the only things that really need doing in that, and I'll do this probably later, either at the end of the show or after the show, is he's got some little like shin bits, issues I suppose. There's a top plate here to do. It's a very small one, but it will add a lot to it. One on each side. There's the sternum in there, which is going to be a little bit tricky, but I don't have to worry about it so much because you won't see it. The most important one there really is in the top here, and I've got to do the head. And that'll be that carapace done, and I've done all of that in about 20-25 minutes. As where over the last few weeks I've been struggling week on week just trying to get consistency and application, and oh my god, that brush. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that brush. Anyway, going to move on. I'm going to go straight to... Do you know what? I'm going to go just do a little bit of dry brushing with a little bit of yellow, I think, because it'll be really interesting to see how that works. I'm a bit concerned about what brush to use, but Kez a little while ago gave me some dry brushes, and I've got 3 different sizes here. We spoke about these a little while ago. These are the copycat ones from Army Painter. I say copycat because they are very, very similar to the ones that you get from Artis Opus, and there's the channel from Artis Opus on YouTube. I highly recommend going to have a little look at them because the guy who shows you how to use them is very, very talented with them. I'm going to have a little go, and I should have the brush version of this paint, but I don't see... Oh, there it is. Lovely. So what I mean by brush version of this paint is I use the Vallejo Game Air range. So gold yellow here, this is for the airbrush. It's very watery and it's not conducive at all to dry brushing at all, but I do have the old brush version of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give that a good old mix up, stick a little bit in the palette, and it'll just be a bit easier to apply by dry brush. Got a really small one, and I'm just going to give it a little bit of a wiggle across the gun and see what happens. Jeff says, quite like that, and Kez says, looks good. Thanks, guys. Yeah. Just, do you see what I mean? Just separate the two beasts a little, away from each other a little bit. I like it. I think it needs a bit of practice. Maybe I'll practice with some other like colours and things, but yeah, whatever. Anyway, Staff's not here yet. He's going to be really disappointed because I'm just going to give this paint a bit of a waz on the old Easy 8 Wazomatic every time. Just feel cheaper and cheaper when I say it. The Wazomatic, just a little vortex mixer. Just give it a bit of a mix. Do you know why I actually almost specifically bought this for using enamel paints from AK range, from the AK Interactive, because they develop like a really heavy silt deposit at the bottom, and it's just like if you don't mix it up regularly when you're using it, it just settles and you're just applying like lacquer, clear lacquer to your model. But it works for all the other paints too. Bit of a dry build up there. It's been a while since I've been into this paint. And I'm just, yeah, where shall I put this? I've got such a dirty palette, I need to clean this out really. Hashtag clean your palette, Danny. Right, just a little bit of paint in there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of moisture just on the top of the tabletop there, because Artis Opus say have just a little bit of moisture in the bristles of your dry brush. The term dry brush is a bit of a misnomer. You need there to be a little, the tiniest amount, a licking, if you like, of moisture in your dry brush bristles, so that the paint doesn't build up a chalky residue when you're applying it to your model, which will build up texture and it'll just ruin the appearance of what it is you're trying to do. But I'm going to bring in my little airbrush sheet here. I always airbrush onto a sheet. It's got a little bit of rough texture from the years of spray painting onto it. I don't have a texture palette, I'm going to use it as one. So I'm just going to dip this brush into that paint. I'm just going to rub it off onto here. The texture palette is the best method of reducing the amount of paint in the bristles. You don't want to just like slap this straight onto the model because you're just going to get a big, potato stamp on there. Making sure that I kind of go around in circles around the outside of it, because it's kind of a rounded mound of bristles, right? Just give it a quick test in the back of my hand. You can see how much is coming off there. My lights aren't bleaching it out. It's too much. So I just need to keep on going. Would actually like to get a proper texture palette with Easy 8 on the front of it. I think that'd be really cool, but I don't know anywhere who does custom designs for that. I wouldn't even hazard a guess as to how much that would cost me, but it would be cool. Maybe the community knows. Jeff shouting, "Waz it!" Yes, you gotta waz the paint, man. Okay, that's looking a bit better. Move the lights, guys. A little bit bleachy. Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's put that away. I'm just going to start over here on, I suppose, the stock of the gun. Now I can already foretell the problem with using yellow here is that it's a really thin pigment. It's got better over the years, but it's going to like dry brush filter. Like it's going to affect the pinky colour, so it's going to make it kind of go orangey and weird. But I don't mind that. I see it building up in places already. It's quite exciting. That's looking pretty good already. I'm going to try and just stay over here for a second so I can compare the back end to the front end. Now make sure that I'm in actual shot. I've set my camera up a bit wrong there. I'll adjust that in a minute. Just come around the back of the stock bit here. Okay, I quite like where this is going. I'm not getting any texture build up. I'm not getting any sort of chalky residue bits because I put a tiny amount of water in the bristles. There's like a little sponge applicator for that, which I'm not going to use because I'm not going to sit here for a whole session doing dry brushing or a prolonged amount of it. So I don't feel like I need to get that up. But I do have it right here. Kez lent all of it to me. I'm really getting on with this little bit here. Try and make sure that I stay away from all the other detail bits. So I might have to come in with like a little detail brush in a bit and sort of pick up some other details in this yellow. The reason I don't want to get too close is, of course, is I've painted that bit already. This is like an afterthought, clearly. It's really bringing that yellow back in. Jeff saying, ha, now when dry brushing, if you overpaint, it's called a potato stamp. Yeah, man. Yeah. Do you know like the potato stamps when you were a kid? Of course you do. Yeah, that's looking really cool. I'll take some photographs later on. I don't know if the camera's really catching how good that does, but how good that looks, how good it does. Yeah, why not? But I know that taking some photographs later on will really kind of show you quite how cool that's looking. It's nothing special. It's just bringing those yellow tones back in and allowing the pink to go into the background to just really define the difference between gun and carrier. I like it. Can't really get in too much behind. Not really fussed about it that much. What I want to do is just those little holes, whatever they are, I suppose little just vents or gaps, is I might just get a little bit of the yellow on the detail brush and just pick out the edges just to kind of really make those little details shine. Not too much because yellow's really bright, and I don't want it to be like, hi, just want there to be, you're right, not to be drawn to it, but just for it to stand out a little bit. I like it, it's really cool. That's made my day. I could stop the show there. Right, I'm not going to though, because I need to clean that brush out because dry brushing stains awful. Just a bit of water in there first of all, just loosen up all the rubbish. It's like a crayon, it's crazy. There we go, and I got some paint purger from Artis Opus. This is the actual stuff from Artis Opus, not the army painter version if there is one. And I'm just literally just going to dip that in there for a minute, and I'll just let that settle in, work it in a little. And it is really good, it does purge paint. I've given it a little try before. I don't know how different it is to any other sort of like brush cleaner or anything, but it's it does get the colour stain out of the bristles. Cool. Let's put that away. Let's dry that brush off. Gotta look after it, not my brush, right? Cool. Right, let's pop that away. Lovely. It's a victory already. these tentacly things, I don't quite know how I'm going to do that, and I'm open to a lot of suggestions. The idea of this gun is it's a shock cannon. So is it a shock cannon? Yeah, it is a shock cannon. The idea is that it fires by electricity at vehicles. It's really good at taking out vehicles and things. So yeah, it's kind of electrical. I was thinking naturally blue. I think blue would be kind of nice colour. It plays into a bit of a cliche, but I don't mind that. That's alright. How do I do it? Should it be blue? Should I paint it another colour and do some sort of electrical field sort of paint or simulation over the top? I don't know how to do that. What I do know how to do is the bony parts on the front. So I've got some blades with a big spiky bit, which I'm just going to do in a nice bone colour, and I can do teeth and claws at the same time. So while I let you guys as the community, blue or green colour, yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Maybe a nice turquoise or something. I don't want to go too green because I do acid bases on them as well, and I kind of want to make that definition between the two. But yeah, you're on the same sort of trail of thought. I'm going to let you guys think about it for a bit while I carry on with the bone colours. So I'm going to need Screaming Skull, which is my favourite bone colour from Citadel. Bit of separation in there. So here we go. We know what's happening. Got to give it a waz on the Wazomatic. I've lost the button because my mouse has gone missing. There it is. I've got multiple screens on my computer, and sometimes I move my mouse cursor and it disappears off the screen, and you've got to fight to get it back. Blood red. Blood red. There are some tentacles and things on some of the other creatures, and they can be like deep purples and pinks and things like that. Would that be too close to that? We'll see where you're going with it. I'm going to do my standard sort of putridy colour on this one here. This is an impaler cannon. Fires big spikes, really good armour penetration on that. Oh, got itchy nose. Right, some Screaming Skull. Hey pot, please stay open. Kez, I saw earlier on Facebook, you posted up a picture of your new paint range. You've gone for the dropper bottles of the Citadel range. Some very vibrant colours as well. How are you getting on with those? Are they good? Wow, come on, Staff. He's not here yet. I'm sure he's going to be here. He's been late a few times, which is just unacceptable, frankly. Pull your finger out. Nah, just kidding. Live your life. Bright blue, wash dark blue, and then white highlight. Yeah, that's probably not a bad shout, that actually. I could even make my own wash if I wanted. Alright, we'll have a little look at all my blue range in a second. We'll see what we think. I might actually paint the things with a Screaming Skull to give a good background for the blues to pop out. So let's just start on here. Let's just get some Screaming Skull on there. Now there's kind of this muscle tissue thing that these all kind of join in. I've got a good recipe for muscle tissue. I just do like a nice set of pinks and things. So can't quite remember how I do it, but I'm going to paint it all bone white, because if I'm going to do it my sort of like a brain matter colour really, I like to basically put bone white down, or Screaming Skull, and then I put Crimson Carapace over the top, which is a nice red wash. You get a nice sort of pinky colour, but not overly saturated, which I really like. Oh, I was really struggling to get the whole sentence out then. Now, this bulbousy bit here, I wanted to kind of make it look really red and heavy and sort of tender and almost infected, but that voluminous pink has kind of done that for me. And then what I'm going to do in a minute is I'm going to get this white colour, or this off-white colour, in those little vents, if you like, and then do the pink colour in there as well. There is a bone colour from Vallejo, and I've got it right over there. It's called Bone White. I just prefer this one from Citadel, and it's just a perfect example of preference, your personal preferences across ranges. You like brands. I love the Vallejo range, but the Citadel version of the colour, it just applies better. It's ever so slightly more vibrant, ever so slightly is noticeable. and that might be down to the fact that it covers better in 1 or 2 coats. And it's okay to have favourites between brands. You know, you don't have to be exclusively, you know, a one-trick pony when it comes to, you know, a brand. I bought the whole Game Air range to kind of get started with the show and just kind of improving my paint thing, having options. There's a lot that I don't use, and it would be nice to kind of explore into different brands, and I don't feel like it's worth justifying. I can't justify that, sorry, while I've still got so many unused paints. So, you know, there's that kind of battle with it. But it would be nice to have a little play around with some different colours from different brands from time to time. And go, okay, well, if I'm going to do this blue, I'll use scale 75. Or I'm going to do this green, I'll use Vallejo. So on and so forth, you know. Citadel do some really nice paints. Vallejo do some really nice paints. AK and MiG, they do some really nice paints. And it's just about what you prefer at the time, I suppose. It's just working it all out, isn't it? Which one is best, and of course you've got to try them. And then to try them, you've got to have them. Kesdin says, I bought some empty dropper bottles and put the Citadel paints in them. Oh, okay. They seem to have the brand, like the brand colours on them. Did you buy them like from Games Workshop? Did you? That's interesting. Jeff says maybe he's playing with his new airplanes because staff bought a whole load of airplanes when we went to the Plymouth Wargames convention. Yeah. And he's recently got some more as well. Some more were given to him, all die-cast metal ones. Staff really likes his planes as well as his tanks. Who knew? It was a nice haul. Kes says, I will be moving over to Army Painter when they are gone though. Yeah, Army Painter, another one of those brands. I've heard a lot of good things about them. I don't actually have any Army Painter paints. I used to use their anti-shine matte varnish spray rattle can. That's very good. I was having a lot of problems with things like Purity Seal, and it just wasn't buttering my parsnips, so to speak. So yeah, I watched a friend have a very bad time with it, and after some work on our squad of Space Marines, they frosted over with the Purity Seal, just went white and ruined everything, and that was wholly disheartening for my friend, who gave up painting at that point, which is a real shame. Got back into it afterwards for a little while, but yeah. So having seen that, I was like, I think I need to find a different product, and Army Painter were very good for that. But now I use an airbrush for all my varnishing. Just making sure that I get into all the little recesses here, but without over painting or, you know, painting the wrong bit or anything like that. Just making sure that I get good coverage. Doesn't matter if it's you know, transparent, as a level of transparency at this point. Always come back in and do a second coat. It is watered down after all. Making sure that I get into all those little recesses. Looks like I'm losing detail when I do it. Kit says I took the labels off the round pots. Oh, you're a thinker, aren't you? Was that really fiddly? That feels like it should be a really fiddly thing to do. Okay, cool. There's the front end done there. So yeah, I suppose to make sure that these get a good base, I'm just gonna paint these the same colour. Run out already, so I'm just gonna have to get back into the paint pot. Give my brush a bit of a clean. There you go. what this little detail is that's poking out the side here. Maybe I'll leave that. I don't know. Is it a claw? I don't know. It doesn't look like it's a claw. Some sort of weird fleshy nugget thing. A Tyranid poop, perhaps. I suppose I could try my white inks, couldn't I, to get some real intensity in a nice white colour, and then do some washes and things over the top to see how, like blue washes and things, see how that would make it look. You know what I mean? Kez says, I saw it in a video explaining how to do it. The labels are very easy to get off and still sticky. Oh, do you know what? Cool. Good for you. Well played. Just getting inside the sort of huggy, grippy arms of this guy, trying to get those loops that are on the inside. It's a little bit trickier, just trying to make sure I don't get this colour paint all over all the other bits and pieces. I don't want it to be all over the bits I've already painted. And now obviously I've got to paint the inside bits of them as well. I can actually see some bits in there that I've actually missed, so I need to get in there as well. Oh, don't miss all these bits. Jeff says it might have been a palp. Bugs would have them. I googled it. What's a palp? Now you can't just say that. You have to explain yourself. What's a palp? And I am one of those players that likes to associate the kind of bug aspect with my Tyranids. I know they're supposed to be like a hyper evolved, you know, a super intelligent alien, and I do like that as well. But I do like them to have that swarmy bug aspect. The best of both worlds, you know. No one got it better than James Cameron or Paul Verhoeven in either Aliens or Starship Troopers, right? Absolutely brilliant depiction of a super evolved, super intelligent alien race, but bugs. I love it. I'm gonna have to turn him around. That screw gets in the way a little bit. Let's give him a little twist. It's such a nice feeling to not be painting grey carapace bits as well. I mean, it's got to be done, right? You've got to get through those bits, but oh my god, is it boring. I'm going to be totally honest with you, this is quite a difficult thing to paint. I've got one rogue bristle as well. If you could behave yourself, that would be nice. To do with touch and senses, a palp. Okay, I like that. It's like an eye for a sixth sense. I rate that. That's good. It's really hard to see over certain bits. Oh, I've got a bit of white on a detail in there and I'm going to have to wash that off. Pretty sharpish. Being a bit clumsy then. See it in there? Just there. I've obviously gone dupe and a little dot or something on there and I don't want that. Okay, so now I've just got to get these little hangy bits in here. Hangy bits, you heard me. Like on a spider, little legs almost. Huh, okay. Maybe like vestigial legs. Oh, come on, Frank. Play nice. Such a weird and awkward position to kind of get in. I kind of got through this loop and on there. Oh, got it on the bottom of his palp. No, I don't like that as a sentence. It's so tricky. Really struggling. Okay, I think we're done on that bit. I find myself just moving the model around with actually never being able to get the brush in certain places. Might have to just take him off the stand for a minute. Okay, come on, Frank. Oh. Focus, 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 focus. Okay, well done me, that was good. Just make sure there's no other missing bits. Alright, cool. There we go. Good. That was difficult, man. Right, I do like to put a little dot in the eyes, or a little dot. I like to give it a base coating. Just because the saturation, the covering of this colour is better than other whites. Then I can go in with another white later. Maybe an ink. And just apply my colours in there later. Like blue eyes on my Tyranids. Cool. Right, let's get him back on his base. That was hard. See what I'm gonna do? Victory wine. Here we go. Yeah, need to wash my brush out. It's all caked up. But having so much such a better time with this brush than I was the number 1. I don't really know what to do with that brush. I'll see if I can reshape it. It's certainly not doing me any good in the condition that it's in. It's in good condition, it's just like the bristles just don't want to play. So I might have a go at trying to reshape it, and if I ruin it, I ruin it. You know, it's not like it's going to be any worse. If it's not doing its job, it's not doing its job. Degrees of not doing its job doesn't really come into this, I suppose. I don't want to just make do. It does the job or it doesn't, you know. Got to be kind of mercenary about that. Okay, so bits on the gun are done. I'll give these bits maybe another coat in a minute, but right now let's do some teeth and a tongue. And the reason I do the tongue is the same reason I, did like the eye and the electrified tentacle things. Oh, I still see that I'm missing bits in there that I'll have to go back. Here we go. Okay, that's better. Make sure that I'm in shot. I feel like I have the lights in there enough today. Is that a bit too washed out? I don't know. Looks fine where I'm sitting. I always get very conscious about what's going on the camera there. Good smile. Okay, this side. Now I'm going to do the tongue as well. And you could say, hey Danny, why don't you just kind of slap it all over the tongue and teeth and whatnot? That's a good question. I'm just trying to get better, so just trying to take my time and just work on those little details. I won't get better if I don't kind of force myself to improve. And also I just want to take my time with it. If I did go slapping it in everywhere, there's a chance I get it all over like other parts of the face and not on the teeth properly. So I'll have to neaten it all up. Then in a minute, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in. I'm going to put a wash on the tongue to make it turn red, and that'll probably go over those teeth. And I could be asking myself, why did I do it? Again, same reason. It might not go on there, and I might have to do any sort of cleanup or paint it again. And if I do, it's good practice, right? There we go, and now it's claws time. This guy doesn't have much in the way of spikes. He's got a couple of claws on his hand down here. Doesn't seem to have anything on the gun apart from the big teethy bladey bit things on the front, which is cool. I'm not going to worry about these palps, whatever you want to call them there. He's got hands and hooves, and on the back of the hooves he's got those spurs, and that's it. So that's quite nice. If you want my opinion, they're actually probably a really good beginner model for Tyranids to practice on. Because there's, more than enough detail on there, but nothing overly, exhausting on it, which is cool. Kit says, I hope you get around to painting the biocables tonight. Really interested in how they turn out. I'm going to make that as a priority. Still got about 5-10 minutes before the intermission, and I've still got the other hour. So I will, especially as you said that, I'll make that a priority for this evening. I have a feeling it's going to be a bit experimental, but you know me, I'm okay with that. So these sculpty, the way that the talons here on the hands have been sculpted, there's no like clear definition edge to them where the flesh starts and the claw starts. So I'm just gonna paint it and make it look like that's what's there. There's a couple that do. Then there's a couple where it's just like, What's this little bit? So I'll paint that on there. Just kind of get it on somewhere. I've just remembered as well that I've got a little bit of cleanup to do as well underneath the gun because I've got a bit of white on it. But I'll use some airbrush cleaner and it will come off quite easily. On the other side, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Okay, that's cool. Yep, that looks good. I like that. There's also all these gaps between their joints, and I will do those the pink colour as well. But I don't want to like just kind of hang around tonight just painting white bits. I know it's a bit boring for you guys to watch, and like I said to Kez, I want to get onto these blue bits. So that is something that I'll probably do just after the show. It's like on the arms, you've got all these little weird vents and the little gaps between the joints. Again, it's a base of this colour, and then a crimson Carabag shade over the top. For those of you that are not familiar with shades, it's just the Citadel version of a wash. Okay. Oh no. Sorry, Frank. I dropped him. Oh no. The pins in my clamp came out. Accident. Man overboard. Right. Let's get you back on. Sorry, mate. He's all good. He's all good. Crisis on the workbench. Ah, I need a wine. Maybe I've had too much. Oh, that is a rubbish wine. Okay, cool. So, last little bit now. Hooves and spares. I haven't done a very good job at this part of the model. So when I did the original yellow over, the spray, very, very bright, vibrant yellow, as we all know, and then I've washed it all with a Seraphim sepia. Haven't done that down on the hoof down here, so there's little bits of flesh that kind of just add a little bit of detail to these hooves. The kind of skin comes out in like little pointy bits, is the best way I can really explain it, and they're very, very bright yellow, which means I didn't do a very good job down there with the staining sort of aspect there, the wash colour. That's a good shaped spare, that. I like that. Again, there's a little bit of depth here that's across the model's base. It's making it quite difficult to get in there and paint that. Nice, okay, cool. So now I can paint the inside of that hoof there. Hoof, good word. Just make sure that you can see it. Kev says injury in the workplace. Yeah. Jeff says palps it. Oh no, did I just paint his hand? I just did. So I had to brush over him while I was reading. Don't do that. Palps are usually a pair of segmented, elongated appendages near the mouth of an arthropod. Okay, like the talony claw mandible things on an ant or something, or a crab. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I like that. That's cool. Nature's weird. I'm actually going to take him off the stand for a second because his hooves are very close to the pins on there, just making it a little bit tricky to get in and around. Okay, that's one hoof done. That was harder than I wanted it to be, but whatever. Let's do the spur on this guy first. I think I've just nailed the consistency of the paint with water, so that's a little bit late, but a bit of a bonus. Bit weird that I'm going underneath the hoof, but it's there, so I'll do it. Why not? We are imminent for a. Oh, I've lost my mouse again. We are imminent for an intermission, so I'll just carry on painting this guy's hoof for a second, and then yeah, we'll go for a break. Would love to know how you guys are getting on. So if you are painting, or like Jeff, if you're sketching, let us know how you're getting on. Put some photos up on Facebook and on Discord. Love to see them. It's a bit quiet in the live chat today. I mean, you guys are chatting enough, but normally there's like loads of people. But it's okay for it to be quiet as well. Normally there's 4 or 5 people in there chatting away. What's going on tonight? Maybe it's the NFL. The NFL's coming up, and I've got a colleague who's well into the NFL, and he's literally going to stay up for about 36 hours straight just watching the live feeds from the States. I'm not. I'm not into normal football, really. Not into the NFL, but my friend is. Good for him. And he gets absorbed into it. And he's going to be on there for hours. So maybe there's other people out there that are into it as much as he is, and they're all getting geared up and ready for it. Came into work today. We're all wearing our uniform, and he was wearing a Philadelphia jersey. I don't remember the name of the team. I know it's Philly. Is it Philly Eagles? Am I right? For those of you that are in the States right now, I know that John, you watch this sometime. Is it the Philly Eagles in the NFL Super Bowl? If I'm right, go Sports! God, this hoof is really tricky. because he's all sort of pre-made, pre-built. Oh, come on. Oh, I spat. How rude. That would be the wine. Moistening up the mouth. Which is a sentence I'll never say again. I apologise for that. And we're done. Okay, cool. Brilliant. Right, I'm going to wash my brush out. Going to go for a quick break, so just for 10 minutes. So if you need to go and, you know, stretch your legs, refocus your eyes or something like that, now's the time to go and do it. Whatever you do, you should definitely go and change your paint water. Go do it. Go! Welcome back. Hope you had a nice break. I went and got a hairdryer because I'm going to do some things in a minute that I think I require a little bit of heat to help dry some ink, because it doesn't dry like paint does. It takes a longer time, so I had to go and ask my partner if it was okay. She said yes, so that was nice. And I've also not changed my paint water. Sorry, I do as I say, not as I do. And I was just picking out some of the yellow highlights on the gun beast, like I said I was going to do, which is some of the little details that are on there that I didn't quite pick up with a dry brush. Just went in with a little bit of yellow on the end of the brush, and it's all looking really nice, which is great. Cool. Anyway, let me just wash my brush out there because I've got a bit of yellow. Oh, excuse me, yellow on there. Happy Friday. Cheers. Kez says, just before we went disappeared and I didn't quite catch the message in time, making a bit of a mess of it. Hopefully when I tidy it it will look good. Oh, sorry, jumped ahead. I am trying a new way of painting the cockpits. It will be interesting to see how they turn out. Then they're going to say making a bit of a mess of it. Hopefully when I tidy up the edges it will look good. Yeah, it's all about that balance, isn't it? Sometimes you overpaint. It's going to happen sometimes, especially if you're doing like things like sludge washes and things where you just dousing an area in a particular sort of paint or a wash. It's going to happen, and it is all about neatening up around the edges. Hopefully I haven't done too much detail around there and I have to kind of like, you know, repeat a lengthy amount of work, because that would be sad. Would love to know what it is you're doing though. You said that you're doing it in a different way. So what was the old way and what's the new way? How are those two different things that you're doing? It'd be interesting to know. And then Jeff, thanks for being my foreign sports correspondent by Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah, got that right. Versus Kansas City Chiefs. I didn't know that. But yeah, for the Eagles, it means I've been listening to my friend. Great. I'm going to go... What I'm going to do is I'm going to take you over to the workbench. I'm going to get some ink on there. I don't know how long it's going to take to dry, even with the addition of a hairdryer. So I want to make sure that I'm using time properly. Going to get that on there, give it a blast with the hairdryer, let that sit for a second, because ink takes quite a long time to dry. And I've not really used this Liquitex paint very much before, or ink, sorry. So I'm going to have a go at that. Then I'm going to come away and I'm going to tell you a lot about the things that happened over the weekend, because they're really, really exciting. So don't forget, if you're new and you're just tuning in, or just as a pleasant reminder for those of you, if you like what we do here, or even if you don't, I don't care, just share. Tell everybody about it. You might not like it, but it might be really helpful for someone else who is into the hobby and is looking for a way to, you know, kind of get through their paintings. So share and subscribe. It means a lot to me, and it might mean a lot to somebody else. It might mean a lot to you. Subscribe, please do. It really helps me out. Anyway, back to the workbench. Here we go. Cool. So yeah, here's Frank. Take him off the base for a minute. I'm going to pop him back on there, and screw that up. Cool. So I've got some paints here. We're going to go over those in a second. I'm going to get some white ink on here. Now I've got Liquitex acrylic ink. It took me a long time to find an appropriate ink. I don't know if I was just investigating the right channels or whatever, but if you're looking for a white ink to do things like plasma glows and things like that, which is kind of the sort of technique that I'm going to be looking at here, Liquitex acrylic ink white. The whole thing about inks is they're very watery, they're extremely intense, and it's kind of a one-hit wonder. And what is really good about inks doing things like plasma coils on like plasma guns and things like that on Space Marines is that it'll give you a really good coating, and it runs very fluid between all the grooves and lines that you would expect on a plasma coil. I'm making a lot of hand gestures that don't make a lot of sense. But it doesn't, it's like a wash, so it's not going to run off of the ray surface and just run into the recesses. It will give you a good opaque covering, and then what people do is they use like blue washes, dark ones, to get into the recesses to kind of give you, they paint the raised edges, because the light source glows from the inside. It's difficult painting light sources on an object. If you're doing OSL, which is object source lighting, it's all about having something that looks like it's glowing, but then you get the sort of reflection, the casting of that light onto other surfaces. That's a whole different thing. But actually doing like a glowing object, light glows from the inside. So if you wanted to paint things like plasma coils or lightsabers and all those sorts of things, it's about, if you look on Star Wars, for example, a film that I'm not really into, but who doesn't love a lightsaber? If you look at a lightsaber, the way it's artistically done, the center, the core, is bright, often very white, or a very, very pale version of the color, often, you know, a hint of that colour in white, and then around it the glow is a darker version of the colour, and obviously that's been honed and perfected, I suppose near perfected, in the newer versions of those films. But especially if you go back to the original films, even the unmastered versions, you'll really get an idea of how to kind of paint those things. I am not good at it. I have been playing with it on and off, and I'm kind of looking forward to painting on this Tyranid because it's a little bit different. My idea is to paint these in white and then paint the raised edges in a colour, and if it doesn't work I'll go back to the white, and then I'll just do a wash on it and see how that looks. What I don't want to do is just make it look like it's blue and mostly white, because that's what a wash will do. I want it to look like they kind of got some sort of glow to them, because I think they would be bioluminescent. Do you know, like the bioluminescent fungi or algae that kind of you see in like the shorelines on some UK coastlines? It trends on YouTube occasionally. I saw one just the other day, where there's a guy walking through the shoreline on a UK beach. The water appears black, but as he's walking through it, it's all being disturbed and it's glowing really intense neon blues. Beautiful. That's kind of what I've got in my mind. Making it appear on here is a different thing. So give it a bit of a shake. I don't think this needs much of a waz, so I'm not doing it. I'm not going to do it. Gonna give myself a clear spot on the old palette here. It's got a little squeezy dropper, so gonna. Oh, that's tight, like the tiger. Got a little pipette dropper. Here we go. Bring that in so you can see it. Here it goes. It's a glow I'm trying to achieve on the cockpit, says Kez. Okay, cool. Then maybe this is the sort of thing that you're looking for. There we go. It's that came out very thick, like it shouldn't be like that. So I'm just going to give it a bit of a squeeze inside here, just in case there's a bit of a clog in there. That looks a bit better actually. Yeah, that's better. There's like a dry, cloggy bit in the pipette, which I didn't want. Make sure that screws on properly. I don't want that to dry out or leak or anything. Wonderful. Liquitex. Okay, I'm not going to add any substances, water or anything like that to this. I'm just going to pick it up on the brush straight away. It's really intense. It's a lovely white, it really is. And I'm just going to go over all of this. It's really thin as well. He says it's really thin, but picked up quite a bit of it from the palette, and it's gone on a bit gloopy. But because if I'm right in thinking, inks take a little bit longer to dry. Well, the ink shader I had from MIG, Ammo MIG, took a long time to dry. It took such a long time to dry that I was actually able to wet blend it effectively all evening. So I'm hoping that this will be the same and I kind of get a bit more time to work on it. That's nice and intense, isn't it? Yeah, lovely. It's my quiet voice. There are some other comments that have been going in. Oh, Kez, yeah, I said that you're trying to add more depth to them. Yeah, kind of your last comment makes a bit more sense. Yeah, having a bit of a glow, making it look like it's not just a screen, that there is, you know, there's a little room in there, isn't there? A place where there's a dude piloting away. I suppose it'd be quite difficult actually to achieve the glowing effect with this ink and sort of wash approach, or not wash approach, the opposite to a wash, but painting the raised edges on a plasma coil, you're not going to get that effect on a cockpit because it's all flat panels, isn't it? So yeah, you have to be quite inventive, I think. And Jeff says, I think I've got it, sketching that. It's a gatehouse with bell tower with a ruined city walls and sections all in ruins. Puts pen down and has a drink. Nice. Is this something that you can share? Can you share these pictures? Or is it all like, you know, confidential customer stuff? Because if you're watching this now, Jeff, my dad, gratuitous free advertising plug incoming. He works at his own business, Purple Line Creations, and he makes custom build terrains and buildings for people. So maybe the customer's like, no, you can't talk about this, I'm so sorry. Which I get it, I understand. It's just such a traumatic thing to have to paint. It's got so many... You have to come at it from so many weird angles. That should be the most simplest thing to paint in the world, but it really isn't. It looks like it's drying okay. So I might have to hit it with a hairbrush, but I'm gonna. Hairbrush? Just realised what I said. The hair dryer. I can hit it with a hairbrush if I want to. That'll be a first, probably. Yeah. Oh, I'm actually in shot there. Make sure that the camera can actually see what I'm doing. I just realised I'm really heavy breathing as well into the microphone. If you're listening to that, really sorry. It's my concentration face. The chap at the game show, Pause, painted his helicopter cockpits dark to light blue. He had also gloss varnished the glass area, made it stand out a bit more. Yeah, I like to put a bit of gloss on top of a sort of a light effect, because you can paint OSL all you like, but adding a little bit of gloss can really it can really make the difference. Not always, but you know, if you're hand painting gloss or airbrushing it rather than from a rattle can, it's easy just to correct and go back over with matte or gloss, whichever way you want to go, if you didn't like it in the first place. So yeah. We're almost there, we're almost there. God, it's fiddly. Jeff says, sketches are just a mess, it's all in my head now. Yeah, I get you. Sometimes you just kind of need to like have that focus, that area to go, here's some ideas, and as you're doing it, the sketch is actually in your head. I wish I could draw well. When I was a kid, perhaps you can remember, being my dad and all, for those of you that are just tuning in, Jeff's my dad. When I was a kid, I used to draw all the time. Do you remember that ink drawing? I did like an ink line drawing of the T-Rex from Jurassic Park, so it had been just around the launch in Jurassic Park, so we're talking like sort of late 92, early 93. or maybe in the summer of '93, because that's when it was released. Just copied the picture. It was like a trading card, and I just copied the picture, and it was like a printer, and I was really proud of it. And that was probably one of my best drawing experiences. I used to draw all the time as a kid, and then I don't know, kids, oops, sorry, Frank, we find other interests, don't we? We move on from that. And yeah, I wish I did more with drawing. And I suppose art-wise, really, it wasn't until I was introduced to Warhammer 40,000. Sort of like early teens, that I really kind of got back into artistry, creative outletting. Oh, that's so hard. That's the hardest bit. Okay, gentle. Okay, cool. That was hard. Ooh. Anybody else out there today struggling? If you're watching this back retrospectively, let me know. Do you find Easy A helpful, or is it just not? It's just not. Okay, cool. There we go. Look at the white on that. That's lovely. Wonderful. Just going to wash the old brush out. And I'm just going to hit that quickly with the hairdryer. And then we'll come away and we'll talk about some cool stuff from over the weekend. So, right. I'm just going to... Where's my hairdryer gone? Here it is. I will... Just going to mute the microphone because no one needs to have this blowing down the microphone at them. Bear with me. Says that it'll be easier for me to handle it if he was actually on a stand. So I've dropped him so many times tonight as well. Here we go. Right, here we go. Yay. So that looks dry, but I'm just going to kind of leave him for a minute so he can just pop back over there. But when we get into going over that in a second, I've got a selection of blues. These are all my blues, and we're going to have a look at those and choose which ones are the best. Oh, sorry, excuse me. Here we go. Pop those back over here. Wonderful. Right, let's come away from the workbench for a minute. Cheers. Okay, so let me bring up some notes. Any second now, here we go. So, on the weekend, like I said, went to Paws. We call it Paws, but it's actually P-A-W, Paw. Sounds a bit weird saying it in a singular. Plymouth Association of Wargamers. It was a fantastic show. I first went to it, and I think it was 2019. It was just before the pandemic. And it was a really good show down there, and it was one of the first sort of convention of any size that I went to. And then obviously the pandemic shut the world down, didn't it? And it took a couple of years for Paul to really pick back up again. And I went last year, and I've been this year, and year on year now it's getting bigger and it seems busier, and it's really nice to see because it's shutting down for any reason. But a pandemic, it's enough to break any kind of event and have it not start up again. It was really good to see just so many people there having a great time, and it was really, really fun. And there were so many in the center. There's like a massive pit basically. In the center was just loads of games being played on some huge tables, some really tiny tables, and it was just nice to see people's collections being played, different ways of dealing with terrain and whatever. And there were some people that have made their own games. There was one, I can't remember what it was called, but it was essentially Pacific Rim. They had big monster and dinosaur toys, and then they had big robot Gundam style toys, and it was robots versus dinosaurs over a cardboard city. Brilliant. it was just fantastic. And there was loads of stuff there. There was like Vietnam, there was like, you know, Civil War, there were tanks. Man, it was so cool. And then there's a separate tournament room, which I did go into. That wasn't for me. And this time I went into the tournament room last time, and I walked around and went, oh, there are tournaments. So yeah, I just kind of stayed in the traders area. And me and some of the Easy 8 community and Jeff, my dad, we all kind of walked around, and the idea was to walk around once to just kind of get like a bit of a feel for it, like, oh wow, these guys are here. And then we made a concerted effort to go around a second time and have a bit of a focus on the tables that we really wanted to talk to. And we got chatting to a lot of people. We had a bit of a break. We went out for lunch. We went and chatted to some friends that we'd made, and then we went around a third time. It was like, okay, let's make some choices of things that maybe we want to buy. And then we went for a fourth time and then bought loads of stuff. And then the fifth time we go, like, did we catch everything? And I made some really interesting, like, I'm gonna say interesting, I had some really interesting chats and made some really cool friends. And there's kind of stuff that I wanted to talk about today. There was so much stuff there, man. It was great. It's a really small convention as well. Like, it's going to be great going to Salute 50. More on that later. So I got chatting to loads of traders, and it would be difficult to list them all here just for the sake of listing them. But there's a couple of gentlemen, or sorry, a gentleman in particular that I really want to mention, and that is Matt from the Pit Gaming Shop. Matt, if you're watching now, or if you're watching it back later on, hello, told you I was going to talk about you. If you want to have a look at the Pit Gaming Shop, there's a link down there in the comments, and I recommend you go and have a look. They're based in London. They got a little shop over there, and they basically just take their products and tour all over the country. They go to about 70 plus shows every year, or at least this year. That's more than one a week. So there's a couple of them. I met Matt, his colleague, was literally on his way to another convention there and then. They go around offering discounts on their products and stuff, and Matt was just a really wholesome and interesting and cheerful and engaging and exciting man to talk to. I got chatting to him over some products that he was displaying that I haven't seen before, and that's how we kind of had our little conversation kind of coming from there. And I got talking to him about some products from, I'm going to try and say this properly because I've not said it out loud, Anomalia terrain tiles. Anomalia are a company who do high density MDF. Now I think what Matt was telling me it's called a HDF, but I can't find that properly if I Google search it. But basically it's a tougher, rougher version, more sturdier version of MDF, and they laser cut terrain tiles that they stand up proud from the top of your tabletop. They're an alternative to gaming mats, or in addition to your gaming mats, I suppose, and they interlock, and they've got cliffs there of different types. They've got slopes, they've got recessed like bowls or craters, they've got mounds, they've got hills, rivers. Man, there's so much stuff there, and it's all really neatly produced laser cut terrain, and it all interlocks and matches up perfectly with no magnets. There's no magnets involved, although it'd be very easy to put those in if you wanted to. And basically you could buy additional clips and things like that hold everything together. One of the reasons why it stands off the table, so that you can kind of clip it all together and hide it underneath. It's really ingenious. And I saw there was a table in the gaming area that was using this terrain. It looked really, really cool. And I got chatting to Matt, and he said they're a really, really good company. He is just a provider of this company, and he was offering 20% off, so I bought some stuff, and I'm going to go into that in a second. One of the things I noticed about Anomalia, if I'm saying it right, Anomalia, was that when their gaming tiles were elevated off the table, as they all are, of various heights, you can have boosters and cliffs and hills and things, is that it exposed the underneath to the side if you're viewing from the side. And you know me, I'm a perfectionist. I like things to look neat and tidy, and I like my game table to be free of anything. And I did mention to Matt, I said it's a shame almost that they don't have little like skirts or side bits that you can clip on, that you can just paint black or a neutral colour to hide that sort of stuff to make it look really good. And he said they are really open to suggestions and feedback from their customer base. They listen to everything, and a lot of their products are results from feedback. So people say, oh, I'd like this, and they do it. So he said that he's going to get in contact with Anomalia on my behalf and let them know about that as an idea, and that would be great. I've influenced a business, a provider of something that we use. That'd be cool. And I said it'd be great if we could have Easy 8 printed on them. Got talking about Easy 8. I said I'd like to mention this on the show, and he says, "Ah, Easy 8, I know you." I'm like, "Shut the fridge!" And he went over to his laptop, and he was watching the previous episode of Easy 8 on his laptop right there. Cheers, Matt. Thanks for your support. And then later on after the show, he subscribed. So he's now a subscriber to the show. They also have their own video channel. I haven't had a chance to go through it yet because I've just been kind of trying to catch up from being away over the weekend. But it looks like they do kind of like little reviews or insight videos and things about their shop and their business. And I'm really looking forward to going through those videos. It was only Matt that I met. I know that there's at least 2 of them. And I'm really looking forward to just kind of maintaining a relationship in the future with these guys, just because they just seem genuinely excited and engaged in their hobby. They're doing it for all the right reasons, and I think it'll be a great contact going forward. So I put a link to the Pit Gaming Shop down there in the comments, so that if you're interested in going have a look and supporting these guys, just a great ethic really towards the hobby and the business, and it really shows just in the conversation. Have a little look in there, give those guys some support. If you're interested in buying Animalia products, you can buy it from animalia.com, or is it .com or .net? There's a link down there. Have a little look. And you can see all the range. They've actually got like an online app, so you can go to the website and you can build in a 3-dimensional planner view, and you can rotate or views your own tabletop. And then what it does is it tells you all the product codes that you've got in that list, puts them in a shopping basket. You can just add to cart, off you go, which is fantastic. If you buy Animalia products from the Pit Gaming Shop, so take those codes, go to the Pit Gaming Shop, you will get 15% off of your order. I highly recommend that. They are very affordable products, but if you're looking at basically stocking up and creating your whole table, then that price is going to add up. So make savings wherever you can. If you see the Pit Gaming Shop at a convention, so like Paws, or they are going to Salute 50, then they will give you 20% off. So I bought myself a box set of Rivers because I really wanted to have Rivers for some of my historical tank games in 1/100 scale, so 15mm, and I thought it'd be great. I could buy a really nice little bridge to go over a river, really break up the table. So I bought a multi-pack of Rivers, so it's 4 tiles, all with river sections, and the idea is that eventually I would buy some more landscape bits to go with it, build a whole table. I'm not going to put the undersides on. I'm just going to put the flat panels sitting on top of the rest of the battle mat and have a river there until later on I want to buy more stuff. Unfortunately, and this is no reflection on the Pit Gaming Shop or Animalia in any way, shape or form, when I opened up the river sections, it was all slopes. So it was just a packing error from Animalia. Yeah, that's not a reflection on the service or the product at all. So I opened it, I was like, yeah, ready to go, and it all had sloped bits, and I was like, what is this? And it took me ages to work out. There are 3 manuals in there for 3 different slope cliff sets, and I was like, oh, I have no need for this. It was the same price, so I didn't luck out. So I've dropped Matt at the Pit Gaming Shop an email through their internal contact me service on their website, explaining what a wonderful chat I had with him, that I was really grateful for the subscription that he's provided us here at Easy 8 with, and just kind of my excitement to just kind of chat with him in the future. And I explained to him about that issue, and can I return it? Can I do a trade? I've opened the box and it is an unresealable box. And I realized just earlier on, was having my dinner, I was like, oh yeah, it's an internal email. It was sent from my own email address, so he doesn't have a return address to send it to. So Matt, if you're watching this, you've got an email. You can contact me through YouTube, Facebook. I'll send you another email to give you my email address, and hopefully we can have a conversation. That would be nice. But the guys were really, really cool. I bought that box set from them. I'm not going to show you that product right now, because what I actually want to do, I was so excited by the product, and I was so but it's so keyed up from the conversation I had with him, that what I want to do is do a whole episode special, or even a couple of episodes, on actually building, or maybe I'll pre-build it because it's quite simple, but actually painting it and sculpting on it, because the whole point of this high density higher density or higher resistance MDF is that it's almost completely resistant to painting, priming, gluing, sculptor molds and things like that, which is basically like sculpting putty, which would not make normal MDF warp badly, affecting the quality of your product at the end. So that's a bonus. And their laser cutting is on a lower frequency, so that there's no cleanup. You don't have to do any sanding. It just fits together snugly. There's no soot, which you kind of get on a lot of laser cut products, because they want to expedite their orders to appease more customers. So there's a lot of soot on the products, but they have a special blower on their laser cutters that blows all the soot away, so it's very clean. It doesn't smell. I actually like the smell, but you know, it was just a really nice product, and you can tell that I'm still really excited about that conversation I had with Matt. He was just a really nice bloke. So top dude, nice to meet you, Matt, and thanks for subscribing. Please do go and support the Pit Gamer Shop and Animalia, they were great. I also bought from him 2 Churchill tanks from Flames of War back to the workbench very, very quickly. I made these up the other day. I'm talking over my transitions again, how unprofessional. So I wanted some Churchills for my little collection. He had Churchills with a 6-pounder gun. Two of them came in the set, so I bought these from him as well. That's a big gun. It's not as big as the 17-pounder, but nearly as good. It's just a really big tank, and this goes very well with my Char B, which was a Christmas present. Was it a Christmas present or a birthday present? Can't remember now. They're very close. From my dad. Thanks, Dad. This is a Char B for scale. You can see that this one's all metal. This one's got a lot of metal components. I do like plastic, but this is what you get. So yeah. So that was from the Pit Gamer Shop as well. So that was a part of my haul. I also met with Desane Studios. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Desane. I've seen Desane before, where I bought my T-Rex laser 3D printed T-Rex. This was at Exeter at Legionnaire, and I bought this from it and a load of other products as well. I haven't painted them yet. I love dinosaurs. They're my initial thrill. I think they're brilliant, and he's just got an even bigger collection now. So I bought an Ankylosaurus because I just think Ankylosaurus are fantastic. If you're into paleontology as much as I am, recently they found a relative of Ankylosaurus, Plateosaurus, and they found him with a lot of his skin intact, as you often find with this type of dinosaur, and he has a face. First face we found on a dinosaur. That's cool, huh? Anyway, I'm really looking forward to a day where I paint these up. I will actually like to get to that sometime soon, have a little break from 40k, just a little one, and just kind of have a little bit of artistic freedom and paint some dinosaurs. Beautiful models. He has so much stuff there. I actually spent a long time just standing in front of his store while he was probably wanting me to go away, trying to decide which one to buy. It was fantastic. Me and the guys from Easy 8, we were just stood there for ages. So that was Desane Studios. Let's go back away from the workbench a minute. Cool, and then I also bought some dice. I love dice. It's a habit, really, buying dice. From Bicorn Miniatures. Every time I see Bicorn, I can't help myself. He's just got such a wicked range of dice, and I bought a nice selection for D&D, a nice yellow set. It's my favourite colour. I paint my Tyranids yellow because I play a lot of role-play games, and I play D&D with some friends at work, and I wanted a new set. But I also had a really miniature set of dice, and he said that the company was going out of they were going out of business. So me and the guys from the community, we went and just kind of bought like all of his dice. It was a massive haul. I had such a wicked time. It was great. And I really wanted to kind of pass on to you, the guys who I spoke to. I've put links down there in the description so that you can go and have a look and give those guys some support, share some love, maybe have a chat with them. They're wonderful. If you are really keen on showing some support, this is what Easy 8 is all about. It's about sharing in the community, sharing the community with the community. So I really wanted to kind of give that message that I don't get paid for this. I don't want to get paid for this. Maybe, I don't know. It's a hobby, and I think that everyone should be able to have access to all of the providers that are out there, and they should be able to have the freedom to be able to pitch to everybody. And they were just really nice guys. So if you support that idea, that concept, drop them an email and just say, hey, I heard about you on Easy 8. That spreads my name a little bit, and it kind of gets them talking. That would be really, really cool. You don't have to, that's just a suggestion, of course, but I highly recommend going and having a look at the Animalia tiles. They are fantastic. All the links are down there. Anyway, I got very excited about that was very cool. I just want to make sure that I haven't missed anything because it was such a cool week. I'm going to cough a minute, hang on. Yeah, I've been talking too much. Yeah, cool. Covered everything. It was a really good weekend. And we made out lively. We got out pretty quick. We made out lively. God, that was very British, wasn't it? Cool, blimey. We got out lively. Yeah, sorry about that. Got very excited. what is in this? We left like well before the end of the day because we had seen everything and we had our fill and we all bought stuff. We bought loads of stuff. Dave, who's normally in the live chat, bought 9 Matilda tanks because you can. It was a great evening. Sorry, great afternoon. Back to Tyranids. Here we go. So, we've only got 15 minutes left. I might go over a little bit because what I want from you guys, I know there's only 2 of you in the live chat there, but if you're watching this retrospectively, if you've got comments, drop them in the comment section because I can always go back over my models if you've got some suggestions, and I do read everything. So I've got 4 blues of different sort of shades. That's kind of a shade order, isn't it? This one here is kind of a bit of a standout blue, so it's not necessarily about them being like brightnesses, it's about the type of blue it is. I don't know what colour I should do. This might be a really good highlight colour in some ways, but what's going to happen if I make a wash, what would happen is that the colour would run into the recesses and you have the white standing out on the top. And I don't know if that's necessarily what I want. That would make it look like a white thing with a bit of a blue hue. What I want to do is pick out sort of the raised edges of which there are very few on, they're granted. It's kind of like a flat hose, if that makes sense. So there is a bit of an edge. So I'm going to try and pick out the edges as a bit of a low light kind of an idea, yeah? I might hit it with a slight wash to sort of filter that kind of white down a little bit, and then hit it with a dark low light edge, low lighting. I don't know what colour to choose. What colours do you think? I'm tending towards these 2 in the middle. So that's magic blue, and that's ultramarine blue. I don't feel that I need to put them on the white paper. I've got it out just in case I wanted to put it on there to see what it was like. Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe because I think I use these 2 blues, or one of these 2 blues, for their eyes. It would be quite nice to have a distinction between the 2. I'm leaning towards this one here. Yeah, I'm interested to see what you guys think about that. I know there's a bit of a delay on the live chat to what I'm seeing and hearing, so I'll give you a second. I'll just read out some of the live chat there. Jeff says, oh no, it's Kez says, I do gloss varnish them as a last step. Talking about the cockpits on a battle mechs. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it adds that kind of very physical sheen to it. It's good. Jeff says, with bugs, then can you make your own up from bits and bobs? Because when you were younger, we made assassin bugs from bits. It was quite nice, if I remember. Yes, you can. You can make up your own things. You don't even have to make your own creatures. You can just kind of stylize your own creatures. In fact, you actually made Tyranid Prime, which is a bit like a sub-leader creature. You just kind of put some bits and pieces together, and I use him as that model. There is no model for it, so yeah, that's kind of cool. You can do. I don't know whatever happened to that assassin model. It was like, what happens if the Tyranids get hold of a particular assassin? They'd have like some sort of high attack creature. I don't really know what I'm trying to explain. Like, it would just be a mess. It would be an emotional assassin mess. And it was a really good creature. It looked like it was just airborne, so it was on like an aerial base, wasn't it? It was really cool. I don't know whatever happened to it. It must be around somewhere. Yeah, and also they are bringing out a new range, some new models with a release coming up for 10th edition very soon. If you remember last week's show, I talked about the Dark Angels and the Lion, which is the Primarch, coming out with a release of Tyranids. That is confirmed by GW on the Warhammer official channel. So yeah, that's going to happen. It'll be interesting to see what they bring out. But yeah, you just got to have the bits box for it, right? So yeah, you can make up whatever you want. Kes says, so the new system... Oh, so go back to your system of painting. So the new system, the larger windows have come out really well. The little ones, not so much. Okay, love to see a photo. Stick it up on Facebook and on Discord. That'd be great. And you would go with magic blue. This one here. Okay, yep. Jeff says, got to go with the mid blue so you can stain it with a dark and highlight with a light. Are you talking about this one or this one? Because they're very similar on the camera, but they are actually, this one's quite a more of an electric blue. This one's more like a dark sky, really. Best way of explaining it. It's ultramarine blue. Ultramarine is a colour, so yes, it's ultramarine. Cool. Ken says is leaning towards this one, and I could always add a little bit of highlighting with this one, I suppose, can't I? So we're going to discount the dark one. That's fine. That's going away as well. Which one was Jeff talking about? It's really weird calling you Jeff, but I've kind of got to do it for the viewers, right? Hi, Dad. It's weird. Which one? Left or right? Ultramarine or magic? I'm just gonna give you a second there. Do you know what? I'm gonna give them both a shake. Here we go. Double-handed shakes like milk and a giant cow. Why am I saying these things? I'm going to hit them both up on the Wazomatic. The lighter colour. Okay, cool. So both of you have gone with the lighter one. Okay, wicked. So I'm going to give it some Waz on the Wazomatic. Staff's not been in all evening, has he? He's missed it. He's missed 3 Wazes. Hi. Magic. Here we go. Cool. It's a nice colour. Just get rid of that sheet. Go away. It affects the saturation of my lights. Right. Just going to pop the dollop in there. I'm going to make a wash. That feels like a respectable thing to do, but I'm going to use a contrast medium because what that'll do is it will make a really nice glaze filter. Be right with you. I don't want it all to be like this colour. I want the white to be I want it to be very, very bright. So I'm going to be quite steady with this and see what happens. Here we go. Let's have a little look. And then I'm going to sort of low light the edges. It's a bit of an awkward shape. Everything that I've learned about this process has been on things like plasma coils where there's a lot of depth and raised edges. This looks like I'm just staining. That's got on a bit more intense there, hasn't it? Okay, what I will do here is I'll wash my brush out and I'm just going to put neat contrast medium straight on the top and just see if that kind of dilutes it, spreads it out a little bit. Which it does quite well. Now I can pick that up and take it across the rest of that surface. The problem with contrast paints and contrast medium is that you can't really play with it too much, which I'm kind of breaking that rule because, yeah, I've got so much of it on there. You have to like kind of put it on, be confident with it, and then that's that really. I think that this is generally too bright a blue for what's in my head. But you know, you got to experiment. You got to have that. You got to have a go with it, haven't you? I might play with this for a little bit after the show. If you're interested in coming and joining me on the Easy 8 after party on Discord, I'm always on after the show, even if it's just for a little while, where you can come and have a chat with me on video or just typing or just audio, whatever you like really. That's looking a little bit better. That might dry a bit better. Yeah, and we could just chat about projects that you're working on, projects that I'm working on. If you've got any ideas to help me out with, that's always cool. Or if you just fancy having a chat, could be about anything. Could be about what you had for dinner. I don't mind. Whatever you like. This is very new territory for me. This is like doing sort of light effects on a Tyranid feels very weird. It's not something that I normally do. But it might be that like a mixture of the blues that I've got will really let it shine. Shine glow effects. So I might like go in with the darker blue or even the ultramarine blue and just see if I can pick up some of the recesses a bit more. Come in with a bit of the highlights, try and let the white work for it a little bit. One thing's for sure is it is a very stark colour and it stands out lovely. And you know what, as I'm doing this, I'm thinking that maybe going back to white and then dry brushing with the blue, and that'll pick out all the edges. But if I use that technique I used right at the beginning and just subtly, you know, take my time and work up through different blues, the different colours that I've got, that might help, and that will leave white at the centre and bring the edges out. The blue colour I was talking about, the lightsaber kind of theory. Some colours going in. Jeff says you've got to go with a mid blue so you can stay with, oh yeah, read that one out, lighter colour. Yeah, we got to make a reclamation ball at some point. I've got that giant crater and you can have the towers. Blue goes with the grey. Yeah, it really does, doesn't it? Yes, the reclamation pool, that would be really cool. It'll be nice to actually do like a stint on just some sort of terrain stuff. Maybe I could do like terrain tiles, or I can work on your resin products as well. That'd be cool. You know what I should have done is I should have done one side one way and the other side like a different style or technique. But it's not looking bad. I'll see it through, I'll take some photos, and then of course I'm really looking for some feedback on Facebook. So yeah, keep your eyes out there. If I was into OSL at the moment, which I'm really not, I want to, but I'm not practiced at it enough, I could do like some glowing in certain areas. That would look really cool, but I kind of want to save that sort of technique for grittier models. Looks alright, doesn't it? It's okay. It's a nice colour for sure. And what I really wanted to do was put some white in the eye, which I didn't do that earlier. So if I just clean my brush off. Nice. There we go. Well, that's been interesting, isn't it? Look, I've got like 2 minutes left, so I need to let that dry. I don't want to hit it with a hairdryer. There's a little bit of water on there, and well, a little bit of wet paint. I don't want to blow it around, so I'm going to leave it as it is. With the few minutes I've got left, what I am going to do is I'm going to come in with a little bit of Seraphim Sepia, and I'm going to hit up the bone colours, because that should be an exciting way to sort of finish the show with a really easy, achievable colour scheme thing. Shut up, Danny. Keslin says you got blue on the front of the left arm. Oh no! Front of the left arm. I don't see it. I see it! Right there. Cool. Yep, there are many arms on the left there. 3 in fact. Leg, arm. It's the middle arm. Yeah, I see it. Thanks. That's why we have a community. Cheers. Thank you for that. That's really kind. Yeah, I'll pick that up. Actually, there's a couple of errors that I'll get with a little bit of airbrush thinner. It's actually quite a useful way of cleaning models up and whatever. So a little bit of. Oh, stop dropping him, man. Should probably put the handle back on him. Do you know what? Put the handle back on him. There we go. That's better, isn't it? Right, get that bone colour in here. I like it to be a bit more intense at the base of the claw, and if you hold it right, it just kind of naturally pulls down, but you do have to get it all over. There you go. I'm going to put it on here as well, because that might be some sort of conductor, or is it like a giant barb that gets fired out? I don't know. Should probably read the book. But it definitely looks like it should be bone. And those bits in the middle there, they're going to go all pink with a little bit of crimson carapace, which I will endeavour to get on this evening. And then I'll take some photos of it and put up on Facebook and get your feedback. I love this effect, it's so cool. Right, a little bit on the teeth. Do you know what? I'm just going to scoop a little bit off there. Should have done the tongue first, but whatevs. It doesn't stand out so much on the teeth, it's more about running in the recesses, and it just kind of makes the teeth stand out a little bit more. If you've got a small area with the off-white colour, that bone colour, and you hit it with this, it actually makes it look yellow. And I don't like that. Because it just ruins the effect entirely. And in fact, on my Khan effects, here she is, on the spines on the top, they all look yellow. If I bring her up here, you can see they look like little yellow dots, and yeah, so I'm actually going to have to like pick those out with a bit of highlighted bone white just to make them stand out a bit more. So be aware of that if you are doing this technique. What I normally do at this point, of course, is I put a little ending scene up, but I've been so excited I forgot how to run my own show. So yes, we are literally, I'm literally just wrapping up now, so I'm just going to apply this colour onto those hooves. He's got a couple of talons on his arms as well, and then we're going to be done for the evening. With this handle, I'm actually getting quite close to the camera. Really sorry about that. Maybe you like that. I don't know. Shall I could be up this close? Not very light, is it? No, that's a bit better. Yeah, look at that. It's a really nice effect on the bone white with this colour. Looks like two colours that were made to be together. Okay, I just need to loosen him off there. I'm going to turn him around a little bit. Come on now. There we go. Oh, he doesn't like that at all. There we go. Good thing about this is it's the same colour that I covered the yellow in right at the beginning. So do you remember I was talking about those yellow bits, those little prongs that are sticking out that weren't washed it properly in the first place? Is that they're kind of getting that treatment now. No, it's just these little talons on the hand. The problem with them having limited sort of defined edges through sculpting means that, again, they can blend off into the yellow quite well. So I need to hit them up with this brown just sort of to tone them down a little bit, but I'll have to sort of make sure that I come in with a proper effort of highlighting them. Otherwise they'll just kind of blur off into the yellowness like they did on the Carnifex. A bit of tea staining there, so I want to make sure that goes away. Call it tea staining, but it could be coffee staining. Literally just pushing the thicker parts of the paint around with the bristles on my brush, and using capillary action just to sort of mop up really, and then I can drop it on an area where it wasn't so heavy, like on this claw down here. Make sure you can see that. I'm up the top there, haven't I? There we go. That's Frank so far. We've done a lot more work on him today than we have over the last few weeks, and I'm really happy about that. Obviously we've had to leave Betty behind for a little while. Maybe we'll do Betty as a separate thing, or maybe I'll just do her, off air. But it's coming on. I like this blue. I don't know where I'm going to go with it. I might end up painting it all blue and then dropping white ink on the top and kind of using that as a stain. Don't know yet. But it looks kind of cool. It's very vibrant, isn't it? It is very vibrant. Electricity. Yeah, or bioelectricity. It's cool. Ladies and gentlemen, Frank the Hive Guard. Cool. Let me just close up there. You can stay there, please, Frank. We're going to do a little bit more work on you before the evening is over, and we're going to come away from here. Here we go. Any second now. Thanks for joining me this evening. It's been really good fun, even if it's just been just the two of you in the live chat. But if you are watching this back later on, let us know what you think of Frank and the techniques I've been using tonight. Let me know about the colours on the bioelectricity things, the fronds, dangly bits, whatever you want to call them, cables. I don't know. What are the bits that hang out the bottom of jellyfish? Because it feels like it might be those things. What are they? We've had a lot of googling going on tonight, trying to fact find. That'd be really helpful if you could find out for the end of the show. What are the bits that hang at the bottom of jellyfish? Is it just tentacles? Because I don't think that those are tentacles. Tentacles don't join at both ends. Oh, we're really discussing the important things in life here on the tonight's show. Yeah, it's been quite a evening in the live chat, but thanks for coming along watching anyway. It's okay, it's allowed to be a quiet one. I'm not offended at all. So people have got their lives and whatever. If you are watching back later on, let us know. Kind of put a little comment down there or something. Let us know what you think of this evening. And of course, we're going to be over on Facebook as well. I did promise that I'd be a little bit more active on Instagram. I'm going to try and get on top of that very, very soon. Just because it's just been a bit mental at work. We've had a lot of changes at work. I'm not going to go into that because you just don't. There's no need. It's no one really knows what I do. Tentacles, not tentacles, but tendacles, like tendrils. But I like it. It's a good word. But yeah, basically, there's been a lot of changes, and there's just been an adjusting period. Me and my team, etc., and it's all starting to come together. So yeah, I'm having a bit more time and a bit more personal organisation. That seems to be something I'm always saying, but I do want to make sure that on all of our platforms that I'm putting lots of stuff up there. So you'll see stuff on Instagram coming up very soon, and I'm just going to bombard it with everything that I haven't been doing for a while. So yeah, then of course there's always Discord as well. So it's been a wonderful evening. Thanks for coming along and joining me this evening. Just before we go, of course, I'm looking forward to Salute 50, which is Europe's biggest games show. So if you want to go to that, Easy 8 is going along as a community. Kez is going. Jeff is also going. Jeff's going separately. He's going up with Charlie Foxtrot Models. That's Colin Farrant from down in Cornwall, who does Laser Cut Terrain, a wonderful quality terrain builder, and they work quite closely together, helping each other with their businesses, and they're both going just the network, so they're going to get to go around and walk around and everything as well. There's a load of people going from the Easy 8 community, and if you want to go, if you're watching this now, and you think actually I want to do that, it's in London. It's in the XL Centre, right over by North Greenwich, and I am currently, for the few people that have said that they want to go early enough, I'm kind of helping organise the transport and accommodation there, because we're going to go up on the Friday night, so that's the Friday the 21st of April. April. The show is on one day only. It's on Saturday, the 22nd of April, and it's looking to be a really, really good gig. And we're just going along to kind of go and see the stuff there because it's going to be cool. It's huge, and it would be great to have a larger contingent of the Easy 8 community going to that one. So if you're interested, give me a shout. Let me know. Drop it in the comment section down there. Hit me up over on Facebook. Come and talk to me in Discord anytime you like. I will get back to you, I promise. Tendricles. Can't spell? Tendricles. I like that. Tendricles. I've never heard of that as a word. I like it. Tendricles. Not tentacles. Tendricles. Cool. I like it. Anyway. It's been a great evening. Thanks very much for coming along. I'm just going to make sure that I can find the screens because my mouse keeps disappearing. Anyway, here we go. Wonderful. My name's been Danny. Says it right down there. This has been Easy 8 Online Painting Club. Thanks for coming along. Until next week, stay safe, be kind, and keep on painting. I'll see you soon. Take care now. Bye-bye. Tendricles. Stinging. Tendricles. One last time. Tendricles. Okay, I'm done.